Hi, this is Renoka. I've seen questions related to routing audio in for SynthMaster in FL Studio, so I thought I'd make a quick video to show you how to do that. To start off, I've created a simple 3x oscillator patch just to use to input into SynthMaster, and it's basically a detuned saw wave. Like this. And okay, so first thing we'd do is route this to press Ctrl L and route this to mixer bus 1. And here, what we want to do is open up SynthMaster. I'll start with SynthMaster 1. And what you would want to do is set the init patch, and then here I'm just going to have click on the waveform, select audio input, and then select left input. And then for oscillator 2, I'm just going to turn it on, and audio input, I'm going to select right input. And okay, so you might have tried something like this, and then if we press some keys, you can hear that there's no sound. And what we need to do is we need to route some Midi into the effect so that it can trigger. So if we do Midi out, and with the Midi out, you need to set a port. So I'm just going to choose a random number, so I'll choose 24. And then to route that audio, you need to click on the cog icon in SynthMaster. And then on this tab, on the settings tab, down here in the Midi section, you need to set to the same port number. So we'll put this up to 24. And if we go back here, so now if we press something, it's sending Midi to it, but then there's no audio. And so what we want to do is trigger the 3x oscillator and the Midi output at the same time. And how we can do that in FL is using layer, which is down here off screen. And to set the layer, you essentially press here to open it. I'll just close some of these for now. So in the layer, you will select both of the ones you want to assign. So you select 3x oscillator and shift click Midi out. And in the layer option, press set children. And now if you have the layer selected, it will trigger the 3x oscillator and the Midi out, which is now going through SynthMaster 1. And one issue you may notice is the audio is quite crackled at the moment. And it seems to be a limit with how SynthMaster and FL work together. So if we set the processing tab, choose this option, use fixed size buffers, and it will give you this warning. So say yes. And then select this option, process maximum size buffers. So we'll choose this. And go back to the synth. And with the layer selected, now press some keys. Also, this is the keyboard steel, so with this selected, if you have the synth selected, it probably won't trigger the Midi, so press this. I'm just using a computer keyboard. And what we can do here is I'll just pan this left, pan this right. And this should sound quite similar to what we had before, so I'll just turn off the effects. That's the original just clean OS, 3x OS, and then enable it again. So this is quite similar. And to prove that SynthMaster is processing the audio, we can turn on the filter. So click here to turn it on. And just reduce the cutoff. Add some resonance. And you can see here a preview of how the filter looks. Filter 1 cutoff. SynthMaster 1 has click and drag modulation, but I can't quite figure it out for assigning. Maybe if I do mod envelope 2 to cut off. Okay, that works. And just have it something like this. And we can turn on some effects like delay. Say set this to 1/8 and increase feedback. Maybe add some reverb. Okay, so now you can hear that the 3x oscillator is being processed by SynthMaster 1 using the audio in for the waveforms. And what I'll do now is just quickly show you how to do that in SynthMaster 2.9. So I'll just load SynthMaster 2.9. This takes a while. Okay, so in SynthMaster 1, I'm just going to click here and choose the NIP preset. And for oscillator 1, I'm going to set this to audio in. And then for oscillator 2, you can set this to audio in as well. And what we need to do is set this to 24 to match the MIDI out set to 24, so we'll set this to 24 and switch back with the layer selected. And again, this is jarbled sounding, so go to processing, set use fixed size buffers, so yes, and then choose process maximum size buffers and go back to SynthMaster. And so now you can see that SynthMaster effect version is processing the audio from 3x oscillator. I haven't figured out how to pan the audio like I did in SynthMaster 1, but some funky things we can do here. So say if I set these to modulator, and then in modulator I can set this to audio inputs. You get some crazy sounding FM stuff going on. And we can enable the filter, increase the resonance. It's quite an awful sound, but you can see that you can do some crazy stuff using SynthMaster effect version. And this way of using the MIDI out and layer, if you hold down Alt, you can open both of these at the same time. And you can show the children. So this approach of using MIDI out and layer is how you route the audio to any effect version of the synths. So this also works for Zebrify, which is part of Zebra 2, and Wave Razor. There's also an effects version of Wave Razor. So Wave Razor FX, and then there's an input value that you set here. So you'd have to set this to input 24 as well. And that's essentially how you do it for all the different plugins. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. and see you next time.